Hello, this is Liz with Crafty Devotion. Welcome to my very first 2017 Christmas ornaments, or really Christmas in July, because I might not only do ornaments, I may do other things, but this is the first one. I designed these trays last year and I never got to a tutorial, so I wanted to show you how I made them. And these are using different fabrics. So this is a green fabric, and I'm trying to highlight the beauty of fabrics, and I love working with fabrics. And so this is my favorite one. It's using this gorgeous fabric with a vintage thin lace, and I think it just came out gorgeous, and I placed that on there. So I'll teach you how to make these, and you can see that any style that you like you can actually make. You can decide to decorate the back or just leave it plain because the fabric is so beautiful it doesn't need anything. I've just been experimenting, just working with things, and you'll find, if you know me, that I enjoy experimenting. Here's another example. So these are the ones that look more vintage looking. I think I overdid the buttons there. What do you think? I think so. But I do like the buttons on this side. I'm not sure if I want to put that many buttons on them. This one I left plain, and I let the fabric be the star, which you can see it's just so beautiful, the fabrics. And then here, there's some that are a little bit more girly and frilly. And I'm showing you here that you can use different types of fabrics. This one right here is just a very gorgeous, shiny fabric that I have. And then I used a simple small lace. I actually carry this lace in my shop, if you're interested in that. And then I decided that to try out putting these little tiny little flowers here in different areas, just to embellish it. And as you can see, the stars are all different things that I use. I'm just experimenting. This one I had originally put a lot of these crystal thingies on it, and I decided I didn't like it. This one I made last year. And this particular one is just a pink fabric over with a fabric lace. It's actually two fabrics, and so I used pink in it and a fabric, cream colored fabric lace, and then I also put this small lace along the edges. And this one I just recently made. I wanted to try using my thin blue lace, and you can see it's just a fabric that has a little bit of pinks and blues, and then I used these cute little trims, and I'm just experimenting. I think this may not be my favorite color, but if I showed you different samples, I think that you would be inspired to use what you love. You can see that they're different sizes. If you look at this one compared to this one, you can see they're different sizes, and I'll explain to you how to get the different sizes. So let's put those up here. And the thing that I want you to get is I want you to make yourself a circle, and I want your circle. There you go. I have two. And if you can see, one of them's a little larger than the other. And the size of your circle, the radius of your circles are, I think the smallest one I have is about 7 inches across. Then it goes to 7 1/4, and then it goes to 7 3/4. So you can use whatever size you want. It just, you'll basically just figure it out as you go, just the different sizes that you like it. Okay, I want you to take fabric and get your favorite fabric. This fabric, I was going through my stash, and my sister had recently brought this, and look at how pretty this fabric is. It's got like gold shimmers all along it, and it's red with green, and I thought this would be a great one to use. So I start with the circle, but you can use your circle, and you may trace around it, and then you could probably fold it and cut like 3 at a time. But I'm actually going to do something a little different. I'm going to put it on there. This is how I started my parasol tutorials also. We're going to use the same technique, and we're going to fold it there, and as long as you got it. So I do. Okay, and just fold it in 1/4 like that, and then you just trim around here. I neglected to turn on my recorder, so now I have to do this again. So I recut actually this piece, and this time I used this one, and this one is, I'm going to tell you the exact size this one is, this one is 7 3/4 inches. Okay, before we continue with adding the trim, I do want to show you, because if you're a new subscriber, you might not realize that I actually already have quite a few tutorials out that I made last year. This is actually my second season that I am on YouTube as making tutorials, and this is one of my first ornaments that I designed, and this is what I call my spin heart, and I do have a tutorial out for this one where you can learn. And this one I use felt and scrap laces. Let me see, I have another one. It's right here. Okay, I have another spin one, and this one's, I call it in my spin doily, and I do have a tutorial out on that. And I actually use 2 doilies to create this, and from the center I have a large bead hanging and this hanging from the bottom, and I show you how to make that in the tutorials. I also have a pink bauble ornament, how to make this pink bauble ornament, and this is also using wedding dress fabrics. I also have dress ornaments that I make, and I have several tutorials on those, and as well as kits for these. So if you are looking for a kit, I have a red one that I designed for Christmas last year, and then my latest one I designed was this lace one. I also have one that I made that was larger and pink, which would make a great gift for some little girl. I have kits so that you can make your own in this one. Okay, now we're going to go on. So now I need to choose the trim that I'm going to use for this. Okay, now when it comes to the trims, your trim choices, what you need to choose is you need to choose something that is narrow, that's thin. You don't want to use anything over a 1/2 inch. Using something over a 1/2 inch will conceal too much of the fabrics. That's what will happen. So as you can see here, this is the 1/2 inch one, and here the fabric's concealed here. So if your goal, the fabric is concealed all right here on this fold. So if you want to show some of the fabric, the back will always be open though. So and then this is actually a piece of looks like a 1/4 inch vintage lace. What I do when I'm using these flat laces is I pull on the top portion of the lace, and that kind of gives it the form to make it round. So I would do that as I go along. Sometimes laces are nice enough where you can sometimes snip it and it'll work, or you can gather them, but I don't want to gather them. So I'm going to put that there. Nearing the end, and I've actually trimmed it, so I'm going to go ahead and just let you watch while I finish this end. Again, before I actually glue this on, I do stretch these laces, and I did stretch it, and you can see how it goes, able to go around. This is a flat straight lace. It works best with cotton to stretch it because cotton has like a stretchability to it, but this vintage one actually stretched right over. Okay, so now it's all done. I did decide to overlap it just a little bit, but you can see the colors through the lace, see? So I just overlapped it a little bit, and it's full of imperfections. Now, I didn't iron this, but you can iron yours. And I think the flat laces, I like the way the flat laces look. I think I'm going to fold this way because that's the way it was folded when I started. Okay, now the next thing is that this part below here is going to be the base of our tree. Let me show you a base. Okay. So this is what I mean, the base here of the tree, this section. Okay, but all the rest you can actually glue it together, closed if you wish, but leave again maybe 6 millimeters from that side. 6 millimeters. I basically, I don't always fold this up. So this one I didn't glue it, see? But you can see how it opens up and the layers are showing. But I want to show you both ways. So this one I didn't glue all the way. at all. I just left it, didn't close it, didn't glue it closed. Okay, so this one right here, we are going, like I showed you before, we're going to start the bottom like that, where you think it should be, and you'll see that on this side that you don't get very much of the other fabric peeking through. And we're going to test it until I get it the way I want it. Okay, oh, can't see that, can you? Let me do it with this. Okay, see what that looks like. And you can see here there's a lot more space here, and this could be a place for you to put more ornaments if you want. We could pull it up a little bit like this, and it kind of opens up the tip, and you can actually just squeeze it together if you want to make it more pointy up on top. But I really don't think it's like, say I choose this to put up there, you can see that it'll look fine. Oh, okay, so you can see that you can actually manipulate these a little bit. It's fabric, it's forgiving, you can move it around a little until it's the way you want it. So you can adjust also, I'm going to show you right now. So you can adjust right here how wide you start with. Let's see how much this one is right now. Oops. This one right now is approximately 7 millimeters. So what if I made it to 6 millimeters, I might be able to get one more fold. So let's see. So you can narrow it a little. There, that's 6 millimeters right there. Okay, that looks cute too. So I made this a little narrower, so you can play around with this part, and there's no perfection. Look, this one's not perfect, nor is this one. So when you create this design, realize it is not a perfect. So I'm going to tack each little layer just with a little bit of glue. I tacked them, and you can see how it looks now. It's all open. And then what I do now after I tack it is I go and I seal it closer to the edges there. I kind of look at it and I say, okay, it looks like this one overlaps a little, so I'll put my glue along this fold. And you can actually iron it down if you want, if you feel like you like it ironed, but I'm not, so I'm just gonna put some glue there and press it down. Okay, the same here. This layer, I'm looking at how it looks, and it looks like I should probably put the glue here. You need to make sure before you finish gluing it all that you choose where you want to put your hanger. And I'm going to use just this piece of lace that I have here. And what I usually do is I open up one of the places where I'm going to close it up, and I actually stick it in there, and then I glue it closed. I put some glue on the actual thing, and then I glue this section all closed, and I'm getting low on glue. So now you need to make sure that every little section where it meets up, you have glued it closed, because you're going to stuff this. I'm going to show you the only place. So now we have a little hanger there. And so every little seam here needs to be glued together, and I'll show you why right now. And you can glue it after the fact. Like I saw one that was kind of loose like this one. I can actually glue this a little more if I want. So right here, if it's not glued, it's not a big deal, but you can put a little glue later after the fact and kind of do it over if you want. Or we can leave it like that because it looks cute like that. See? Just hold it. Anyway, so now the only place you do not glue is in here. This is where we're going to stuff it. We're going to actually put some stuffing in there. So embellishing of these, you embellish them any way you wish. I used different things. If you saw them, some of them had buttons on them, some of them had additional lace on them. Some of them had some little flowers on them. But this is just a piece of tulle, and I'm not going to go look for my fiber fill. Instead, I'm going to use what I just have just sitting here. And here you go. I'm going to fill this. And I do use a stick for the, so I can make sure I fill it up to the tip a little bit. Now don't push too hard because this is, you're only filling this one side here. And then right here, you just glue it down. You glue it closed. I mean, you could do anything else, you know, if you want to keep it open to try and make it stand, you can do something else, but this is an ornament to me, so I just finished gluing it. Isn't that beautiful? Look at that fabric. It's just a beautiful fabric. And you can see how different fabrics just give it different looks. And so I'll show you this one. I actually used this dangle lace that I have, and I trimmed out this. I like this look because it looks kind of a vintage color. It's kind of like a creamy color, but it looks sort of vintage. And then I used that. So I'm going to show you how you can choose whatever you put here. See how it covers the tip, whatever you put there, so it doesn't matter that much that fold. You see the fold's a little bit wide and open. It's not totally like all, I'll put a little bit of glue on it there probably, right there where it's open. But what I'm trying to do is I like to give you freedom to understand that when you're doing these types of things, perfection is not always necessary for parts of it. You know, you can do different things and use different ways of concealing it. You can make this higher if you want. There you go. There you go. And then you can add anything you want to this. So here's some little pearls. You can add these little pearls. You can add buttons. I also used the little edges of this lace. This part, I used that as, see, you can use that. Or you can just leave it like that because you love the fabric so much. And I think that more often I will probably do that with very little. This one, I think I'm going to put this up here. It is a small acrylic flower, which I put on top of the doily.
Mom, I'm just going to brush my teeth. Mom.
Good idea.
So I won't get cavities. The doctor said yesterday, make sure you brush your teeth multiple times.
At least 2 times a day.
Yeah.
Mm-hmm. He said it like that. Make sure. Like that?
Yeah.
That's silly.
No.
Okay.
Well,
So, there you go. It's lovely and beautiful, and
yeah, it is lovely. You're right.
thank you, son. And you can see the
Beautiful.
the different ways. I really like that size of circle. I think I'm going to make the rest of mine closer to that size. This one I had little flowers. So I hope you were inspired by all of the things that I've been showing you, and that you will look forward to seeing my next one that I do. And I think I'm going to do a variation on this, that I'm going to show you something new that you can do. This is Liz with Crafty Devotion. I hope you are inspired today.